Do you think the cardinal sins being commonplace in our society and how it affects dating and Wait, do you think there are cardinal sins? Is that the... Here, I'll pull it back up.
I think he's saying that like the proliferation of this stuff
Right.
is leading to the downward turn of society.
Just a failed society? Okay.
Anything
All right,
can lead to the
Valdeep.
downfall of society.
I think there's a lot of things going in play to the downfall of society, and it's way, way, way bigger than OnlyFans. Like Joe Biden, for one.
Okay. So I think what he's asking is, do the 7 deadly sins have an impact on dating? Lust, greed, envy, sloth, pride, wrath, gluttony.
Of course they have an impact on dating, but I think the deeper issue is the one underneath the surface, which Christy is kind of hinting at, is that we have an entire society that's upside down, and we're wondering why people are getting divorced more likely, why there's more self-deletion, why all these things are happening in school with the transformers. We're seeing all this stuff proliferate, and it's like, where is this coming from? As society gets more and more secular and removes God from everything, all of a sudden things go bad. All of a sudden there's more STDs, there's more STIs, there's more deletion of babies. All of these things are connected. So those are just the manifestation of said things. But I would also go back to something. You guys are all into fitness. You're a fitness instructor. If you know that eating in a caloric deficit, having the right amount of protein, being active creates certain results, most of us will implement said results. But for whatever reason, we compartmentalize relationships and marriage, and we don't look at the best practices of people who are doing relationships, marriage, staying married the longest, thriving, having beautiful families. And we compartmentalize, and we always want to be the exception to the rule.
So me and you, I actually think we're on the same exact page, but it's like, yes, I would have loved to meet the love of my life at 17 and marry them by 23. I didn't. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not going to marry and then either be unhappy or divorce.
I don't think anyone's prescribing that. I'm saying every moment passing is another chance to turn it all around. Like every moment that passes.
Okay, but God created me, right? Like, do you think I'm a sin? I'm one of God's greatest work. We're all God's artwork.
We're creating God's
I'm not
image.
like against God. I'm Catholic.
That's awesome.
Like, I'm super spiritual. I'm super religious. I don't think God doesn't like me.
I never
there's
said
so
that.
many things in my life that I know God is with me every single day of my life, and so are all my spirit guides. So I think maybe I think we have the same core values.
Yes, I think we do. But let me say
really
this.
do.
But what about the ratio?
Let me.
No.
Well,
The ratio is different.
let me just say this.
Look at it.
Let me just say
the
this.
ratio is different.
I think God loves you so much that it's this sort of love where he accepts you right where you are, but desires so much more for you. I think it's the way that Adam loves his daughter. It's such a love where I love you right where you're at, even when you have a poopy diaper, even when you're making a mess of your house, but yet I want more for you. And that love is in Jesus.
But that you have to trust that the universe will give you what you need and everything will happen to you when you need it. Like,
Well, I think especially you being Catholic, like that whole idea of like the universe giving you what you want. Like you said, you're Catholic, so I'm bringing this up because you said that. Like, no, Satan gives you what you want in that moment.
no,
Like,
I'm not. I'm completely against
Yeah.
Satan. I'm not
Forgive
a
me if I'm
transgender
wrong.
liberal.
I think
I'm
the
not
key
Hillary
is,
Clinton.
I think the key is like back to the original question is that, you know, it's not easy to choose virtue. Like what Ruslan was saying, like choosing a workout routine, choosing to eat healthy, like that can be difficult. But the more you do it, the easier it becomes actually. And there's still hard days, but the more you choose the good, the more you build a habit of virtue of doing the good. And so I think that's the same is true with relationships and with sex. The more you choose to do what is good, like choose to save sex for marriage or choose to not lust or choose to not engage with lustful behavior, like the more you're acclimating yourself
How
to the
is
good behavior.
me
And
doing something with my boyfriend that I only did something with him that's sacred? How is that bad? I never did it with anyone
Because
else.
Are there any
sex
Bible
is
verses
married
on
to him?
this?
Well, sex is
married to
sacred sex is sacred in a marriage, not just in a relationship that you're in.
Okay,
So I think
so have you
I
had
thi-
sex before?
I'm not going to answer that. I was engaged before, if that's your
Right.
question.
Actually,
yeah, I was engaged before.
yeah, so you've
there
had
was
sex
there was a
before.
ring, there was a
So,
commitment, there was a
what-
ring, there was a commitment. Let me finish
we
my
had
thought.
a commitment too.
Let me finish my thought. And we were together for a long time. So
So did we, though. We worked together
Go-
for a
go ahead,
long time, and
Isabella.
we had a commitment.
But no, to answer what Lila is saying is just that it's a commitment thing within the bounds of marriage, and it's the commandments in the Bible and the verses that are there. They're not to like hurt you. They're there for protection. And I think that's just all. You don't have to get defensive. I think Lila's just.
Yeah, it's
I'm not getting defensive. I say I completely agree with you. I have a Bible in my house. I'm very spiritual. I'm very religious. I have a very, very good connection with God. God loves me no matter what you think.
Okay.
I never said he doesn't love you. He
I know,
loves you so much.
I know. So,
He
but
loves
like,
us all at this table,
I think
so I
we
completely agree that he
believe in the
loves you.
same things. But I think being an accountant's a boring job. Just because you don't like my job doesn't mean you should bring it up. I don't bring up your job and say I don't like your job.
Well, we're here to talk about dating and relationships, so that's
yeah,
why,
and
that's what we're
my
talking
dating
about.
and
So then
relationships
we'll
are
allow-
fine.
So-
But I'll just say this, that God does love you. He loves me.
Obviously.
He loves us all so much. I totally agree with you on that. And these laws about morality on sex, and just all the 7 sins you brought up earlier, Brian, there are laws that God gives us. Like the 10 Commandments, there's some no's and there's some yeses of what we're supposed to do. But it's not crazy. It's yes, it's a narrow path, but it's doable and people can do it, especially with God's love, right? And so the idea is, I want you to be happy. I want to be happy. Ruslan, we all want happiness at this table. And the rules about relationships and sex and marriage, these rules, there aren't a ton of them, but there's basic ones of fidelity and commitment. They're to make us happy in the end. They're not to be a burden for you.
When have I
ultimately.
been
They're to make you
infidelity?
happy.
When have I done anything that was infidelity?
She wasn't talking about you
That's the
being
thing,
I'm
like-
talking generally about
Okay,
the
which
rules.
one of the commandments have I broken?
So can I read you a verse?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is
Please.
Matthew chapter 5, verse 27. This is Jesus speaking. It's in red. He says, "You have heard that it was said, 'You shall not commit adultery.' But I say to you that everyone who looks at a woman with lust for her has already committed adultery with her in his heart." So Jesus is saying, society says adultery is wrong. You guys have heard it said in the
I've
law.
not committed- I've never committed.
Let
Yeah,
me finish
no,
my
I
thought.
see what you're saying.
And he's saying that it's way worse than that. He's saying that even if you've lusted in your heart, or you've created content that causes other people to lust in your heart, that it's the same as adultery. That's what he's saying. So he's saying the standard is so much higher than any of us can admit. That's why I think this whole she's bad because she did this, but Adam had 300 bodies. I think we're all jacked up. We all need grace and we all need mercy. And that's the point of the gospel. That's the point of the good news, is that Jesus is saying you can't do it on your own. You're incapable. That's why you need Jesus.
That's not what I get from that at all. It's
that's
saying
what
that
it
if a
says.
man, I'm saying what it says too. If a man lusts elsewhere, that's when he's doing wrong.
Right, so
I'm
there's
not
men lusting
doing
after you
wrong.
who are married.
Men would lust after me, whether I had OnlyFans or I was a lawyer or I was a real estate agent, just because I have
But
how
could you-
I look.
could you
That has
run-
nothing to do with me.
But
It
could
has
you run
nothing
your
to do with me.
could you run your business?
Sorry that God made me look this way. God made me look like this.
Could you run?
That has nothing to do with a man lusting after me and their decisions. I cannot choose their decisions
God
for
did
them.
make me
But-
so
but
good
the
looking.
But
It's
could
not
you-
my fault God made me hot, dude.
But-
It's
but
not my
could-
fucking fault.
But could you run your business?
God
without-
made me look
I
like
think-
this for
I
a
think
reason.
The point here is because you're saying you're a Christian and you want to follow.
I'm a
those
Catholic.
rules. That's a Christian.
Oh.
But you're saying but can you run your business without lust?
Wait, hold on. Let me just thank
Can
this
you have your
guy.
business without lust?
K. Jane. What
I'm
was
just
it? K.
doing
Jane.
what I do with my
Jane.
boyfriend.
K. Jane Karen thing.